Hi, and welcome to the third in my series of video blogs, supporting your parents as they age. In this video, I'm going to be talking about what if dad won't accept care. This is a common thing that we see with people who are inquiring about support for a relative. It may be that you're keen that they have a bit of support to improve their quality of life, to give you a bit of peace of mind, or to give them back a bit of independence if they've become a bit housebound and are really struggling to cope with day to day. We often have inquiries that it is the case that a son or daughter is very keen for their parent to have a bit of support, and it takes a bit of persuasion for that person to accept the support. But very often, within a few weeks or a month of having a bit of support, they can't imagine life without it. They've built up a great relationship with their caregiver. They're able to do things that they weren't able to do before, and they've really started enjoying life again. We had some lovely feedback from one of our clients' daughters recently, who has been having care for a few months now, and her mum has really had her life transformed. She's been able to be getting out and about again, and yeah, it puts a smile on her face every day. So I think it is worth pursuing this a bit further if you feel you can. So I'm going to talk about two different topics really. One is to think about why it is your parent is reluctant to have the support and address some of those concerns. And secondly is to think about a few different tactics or strategies you could take to try and persuade your parent to accept a bit of support, or at least to give it a try. So first of all, thinking about why dad or mum is reluctant to have care. I think there are usually 4 different reasons that might be there as to why they're not keen to have the support. So firstly, it might be financial. They're worried that the cost of care could be high. Secondly, it might be that they don't feel that they need care. If someone is in the early stages of dementia, this is quite often the case. They're not fully aware of the things that they're not able to do. Thirdly, it might be that they're worried about losing independence. They feel that it's giving up and it's the end of their independence. And fourthly, that they're worried about the perception of others that they are receiving care. So I'm going to talk briefly about all 4 of those concerns and how you might go about addressing them with your parent. So firstly, looking at money. So care can be expensive. Yes, that's true. There are funding options that you can look at. Certainly, attendance allowance is something that is well worth looking at. I will be creating another blog about funding options, and certainly feel free to give us a shout to talk about that. But leaving aside the funding options, care doesn't need to be massively expensive. Yes, if you're to move into a care home or to have live-in care, then it will be fairly expensive. But a bit of home care, a few visits a week, won't add up to a huge amount and can make a huge difference to the lives of the people that are being supported. I think the other thing is also to look at your parent with their finances and really discuss the options available to them. You know, that is money that they have saved up, and if it can improve the quality of their life, then in my eyes, it's well worth paying. Secondly, if they don't feel that they need the care, this can be a difficult one because need is relative, really. We often see older people who feel that they are coping, and they probably are just coping. But a bit of care and support would mean that they're not just coping, that they can get back to enjoying their lives. So I think discussing that a bit and the impact that a bit of extra support could have. Thirdly, if they feel like it's going to be taking away their independence. This is something I feel very strongly about because I believe that a bit of care and support can really give people back their independence. You may well find that your parent has stopped doing some of the things that they have previously enjoyed doing, whether that's going to clubs, going out to play golf, getting together with friends to play bridge, the church coffee morning, all sorts of things like that are so important that we keep doing to stay social. Having a bit of care might enable them to do some of those things that they've had to stop doing. And lastly, worried about perception. I think how to get over that barrier. I think the perception of care is changing and evolving. And to me, a lot of people wouldn't think twice about having a gardener or someone to come and clean their house. So it's just talking about it in those ways. It is just getting a bit of extra support to help you live a happier and more content life. So having talked about those barriers or hurdles to overcome, I'm now going to talk about some strategies you might take to encourage your loved one to accept a bit of support. So I think there are 4 different approaches you could take. One is to encourage them to accept a bit of support, but perhaps just for a bit of help around the house initially, perhaps for some cleaning. But the benefit of using a care agency for that rather than a cleaning agency is that you will have qualified caregivers coming in who really understand and know how to interact with people and are good at building up that relationship and could spot if your loved one is starting to need a bit more support or if something is going wrong with them. Secondly, you could talk about the impact on you, whether that's just giving you a bit of peace of mind and how that will make you feel better about them and less worried about them, or it might be about reducing the burden on you that you're having at the moment if you're providing a lot of care and support for your loved one. Which, if you can spend less time providing care and support, it probably means you can spend more time on a more normal relationship with your loved one, more time chatting to them as opposed to caring for them. Thirdly, could be talking about the improvement it could give them in terms of their independence. So if they've had to stop driving, having a caregiver come along would enable them to get out. The caregiver could take them out in the car, whether that's to do shopping or to go on trips, visit friends, anything like that. Or it could be to support one of your parents while the other one can get back out to do, that weekly round of golf or trip to visit some friends or shopping. The fourth one is really just to talk about it as a trial. Ask them to give it a try for a month, just as a favour to you. We often find that in that situation, the person will try a bit of care and actually find they really like the caregiver, they build up a relationship and find it very beneficial. So to sum up, it's really important to remember that unless your parent has issues with capacity where they can't make the decision for themselves, then it is their decision whether they accept care or not. All you can do is influence. However, having said that, I think if you can really see the benefits to them of having a bit of support, then your influence is really important, and to encourage them to give it a go and see the difference it could make to the quality of their lives could be of huge benefit to them. So don't hesitate to get in touch if you'd like any advice around anything I've talked about today, or if you'd like to talk to us about arranging a bit of support for your parents, then just get in touch. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.